I'm looking to see who else here. Welcome. Thanks to everyone for being here, virtual Tarrant County Food Policy Council meeting. If you wouldn't mind, please pop your name, and if you have an organization that you're connected with or a program or something, share that with us in the chat tab there, so we can know who's here. And when you have questions as we go through the meeting, if you'll also direct those into the chat, Becca and probably others will be monitoring that. At the end of the meeting, we'll have an opportunity for everybody to share anything that's coming up or anything you want the larger group to know. So today we have kind of our normal format with some officer reports and working group reports, but we also have a presentation from Lauren Hickman, who is the Tarrant Area Food Bank Community Garden Program Coordinator. And we'll introduce her in just a few minutes. I'll go ahead and say that we ended up moving our board nomination and voting process to the December meeting. So we had planned to do it now, but there were other things that happened. And so now we're doing that in December, and we'll have a little bit more information later in the meeting about folks who might still be interested in nominating either someone else or themselves for open positions. So I'm going to kick off and start the officer reports. I guess part of my update is the fact that we have elections next meeting, which will be in December. I think we've got some great things in the works. The working groups are starting to kind of rev back up, I think, in some of their activities. And I'm excited to see what's coming for next year. And I want to welcome our Vista. I don't know if she's with us yet. Destiny Lane is serving this year as our Vista member and helping us get some things established and doing some capacity building for the council. So we're excited about that. Becca, over to you.
Awesome. So for the vice chair report, can y'all hear me okay? Perfect. So as I don't have much to say. I will just say that we did have a board retreat in September, and bouncing off what Susie mentioned, we do have a lot of great things in the works. The working groups have some, we reflected on our goals for what we accomplished in the past year and looking forward to our goals for 2022. And so I'm excited to see what we do as well. And I have some ideas also that I'll save till the end of the meeting. And so next would be Harrison, Secretary.
Hello, everyone. Harrison Gibson here with Taste Project, Secretary for the Tarrant County Food Policy Council. Not much to report from the Secretary's position, but, and excuse the restaurant noise picking up in the background there. I would ask everyone to mark their calendar for December 2nd. That's a Thursday at 4 p.m. That is when we will have our next general meeting. And if you would like to be on our email list to receive meeting reminders and to receive video recaps of the meetings, which we will send out probably tomorrow after that all gets set, then feel free to reach out to a board member, or I will put our general email in the chat, and we would love to get those reminders sent out to you. It's just about one email a month, so it's nothing that's going to overburden your email inbox. But also feel free to reach out to us on social media and give us a follow there to stay in touch and stay up to date with all meetings, elections, and info like that. And that is about it for me.
Thanks, Harrison. Brenda, do you have any treasurer report?
I just have I have 2 checks that I'll ask the board about that I'm not sure why we have them, but I'm happy to cash them. So if anybody knows why we are receiving 2 checks from Texas Health, let me know, but we're excited. And yeah, just I don't have much to report other than some things on my to-do list. Thanks.
Very good. Thanks, Brenda. Okay. Anything else from officers before we move into our presentation. All right. As I said, we have Lauren Hickman with us. She is the Tarrant County Food Bank, I lost my notes, Tarrant County Food Bank Community Garden Program Coordinator. And the Tarrant Area Food Bank supports local community gardens through the Community Garden Network. And Lauren's going to talk more about this effort to strengthen and measure the collective impact of gardens in our area. So Lauren, would you like to take it away?
Okay, thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be able to share with you today a little bit about some history about Tarrant Area Food Bank's Community Garden Program, and then also talk with you about the work that we are doing and hoping to expand with our Community Garden Network. Many of you, of course, already know about the work that Tarrant Area Food Bank has been doing with community gardens. I want to just start with a little bit of background on who we are and what we do. We are working to make sure that we're creating communities where no one has to go hungry. We work with over 300 partner agencies to help support that mission and that vision in 13 counties. So we are not just serving Tarrant County. So Susie, I'm really glad that you said that because we are serving 13 counties in our area and trying to make sure that gardening and food access is available to all of those counties. So we know a lot, especially the working group, the Community Garden and Urban Agriculture Working Group. This is not new information, why community gardens help to fight hunger. We know that community gardens help to build both community and fruit and vegetable access. It helps us to support food security. It helps us to make people feel more self-reliant. It helps us to provide nutritious food, and it helps us to make sure that that food is both affordable and is being produced with the efforts of food justice in mind. So a little background on our program. Of course, those of you who know Michelin and Becca know that this work did not just start right now. Back in 2010, the board of directors approved the creation of a community garden program and partnered with Tarrant County Public Health to help start 20 community gardens in our area. After that, after those 20 gardens were installed, the food bank really decided there was a need to have a working, sustainable garden where people can come and see how this work is done, get some hands-on experience, do some learning, a garden that could be used for education purposes and to inspire new gardens to get started. And so the Learning Garden was established. For those of you who have been out to Tarrant Area Food Bank's Learning Garden, you know what a special place this is. This is a place where we are able to engage volunteers from all parts of our community and service area. It is a place where people can work together and learn all at the same time. So advancing forward in that, after the Learning Garden had been successful, we were able to actually start a Kindred Spirits Kitchen Garden here at our administrative office. And between those two gardens, we are able to demonstrate a variety of different kinds of community garden. We want to have living models that people can come and participate in so that they can see that you can grow food in almost any circumstance and in almost any setting. Our Learning Garden has many models within it, and then the Kitchen Garden is a completely different model as well. So we do provide hands-on learning to volunteers. We like to empower those in our community to actually be volunteers while they're learning. And so they're empowered to give back and learn all at the same time. It has also been very fortunate that we have had an outdoor learning space where we can teach workshops and events during this time. We can use it to teach not only gardening, but also nutrition and cooking classes when needed. Our gardens, the two gardens together, are producing approximately 2,600 pounds of fresh fruits and vegetables each year, and we are transforming approximately 3,000 gallons of diverted food waste each year. So we are trying to accomplish multiple goals in the same space. That food is then given into our local food pantries and partner agencies, or used in our education classes. So this is sort of the background of our community garden program leading up to our community garden network, which I really would love to speak with you guys a little more about today. Just a quick view of our learning garden and our kitchen garden. We would love for you to come and see these gardens. If you have not already, please set up a tour. We would love to for you to see those. So to talk about the Community Garden Network, this is a formalization of something that has been happening for a long time. And what we are trying to do is help this Community Garden Network grow in a way that supports the needs of our community gardens locally, and also helps us to be able to report the collective impact that we are all having. So I mentioned earlier that originally the food bank helped to start about 20 community gardens in Tarrant County, and many of those gardens are still active. Tarrant Area Food Bank has continued to support with resources, seeds, seedling giveaways, Dig Deep conference, all of the community gardens that are in our area. And what we are hoping to do now is really help grow new gardens, continue to help grow new gardens, and provide the guidance and support they need to get started, but also find ways for us to all come together as community gardens and report and share the needs that we're having, but also the impacts that we're making. So how many people are gardening? How much food are we growing? What audiences are we reaching? To be able to come together and report all of that information so that we can then help to measure the impact we're having in this service area, and know how we can help shape policies that might make food access easier and better. So who is this for? Of course, this is Tarrant Area Food Bank. We are hoping to include in this gardens that are growing food and growing food for those who are at risk of food insecurity. So this is new gardens. We, over the past year, have had 6 new gardens that have gone from nothing in the ground at all, just in planning phases, to operational gardens that are actually producing food. And we have more than 14 gardens that have actually started that planning process over the last year. So we want to support those with planning support, but also installation help, operations, and tips for how to become sustainable. We know that the average life expectancy of a community garden is approximately 2 years. So our goal is not just to start as many new gardens as possible, but also to help those gardens continue so that they can move into being what we consider established gardens. You're seeing pictures of some of the new gardens that have started in our area this year. Established gardens are also encouraged to join this community garden network. We want to support gardens that have already been in operation for more than 2 years with resources, with connections to other gardens. We all know that if you've been running a community garden for more than 2 years, there are times when you want to know you're not in it alone. You want connection to other gardeners who also have Bermuda grass and have made it through a Texas summer. So we want to make those connections for our garden partners. We want to help promote and recognize the work that you're doing. We're hoping to have our established garden partners recognized with some social media posts. And we want to find ways for us to all report and are hoping to provide a collective impact report at the end of the year, so we know what we've done. So how can you as the Food Policy Council help? Please refer new gardens to us. If someone is interested in starting a community garden, we would love to help them. This can be community gardens that are starting in neighborhoods, schools, churches, faith-based organizations, offices. Our community garden partner network it takes a lot of different shapes. Some are operating at schools and colleges, and some are helping to start, like Southside Community Garden, helping to start lots of a community of gardens that are in people's front and backyards. You can share community garden trainings when we offer those. We are trying to offer those at least twice a year, if not once a quarter, so that we can help people get started. So please share those out when we are having events. Volunteer at some of our gardens. Currently, we have volunteer opportunities both at the Learning Garden and the Kitchen Garden. We are also going to start setting up volunteer opportunities for those garden partners that are in our community garden network, so that we can provide that kind of support as well, because we all know sometimes extra hands are important. You can share the opportunity to join. If you're part of a community garden or you're running a community garden, please make sure that you're filling out a profile with us to join the network, so that we can make sure we're able to communicate all together as a larger body. Share garden recognition posts. So when we do a shout out on social media to a community garden, I hope that you'll share that out. Mentor new community gardens. If you're part of an established community garden, or if you just have a lot of garden expertise, we would love for you to provide mentoring support. One of the things that we do for new garden partners is encourage them to go visit several of our established gardens, so that they can actually see how working gardens operate. Our gardens are not the only model, and we want to make sure that everyone has a chance to see that. And please give us feedback. I would love emails from you. I would love to know your thoughts on information that we can help collect together, so that we can be stronger as a garden of networks. So if there is something that you think would be beneficial to track, if you think there's something that you think would be beneficial for us to provide by way of support, please let me know, because we would love to grow this in a way that is beneficial for all of our gardens and all of our partners and our community. So I also want to just do a quick shout out. Dig Deep is a way that we support our community gardens, and we do have a date. So please go ahead and put this on your calendar. We would love to have all of our community gardens and Tarrant County Food Policy Council represented at the conference. And we will be talking more about that in days to come, of course. So I want to provide just some time to answer questions. If those are coming in to a chat, Becca, I would love it if you would read questions that might come in through a chat, or if there's a way for people to ask those, that's fine as well.
Yes, Lauren, I can definitely read those. And if anybody would like to speak their question to Lauren, I can also click a little button here and allow y'all to speak as well. So please feel free to raise your hand or let me know in the chat if you would like to voice your question to Lauren.
I'm going to go ahead and unshare, but please keep asking questions if you have them. And I will share in the chat later a link to our flyer about the Community Garden Network. So that if you would, and also our volunteer workday information, so that if you would like to join us for any of that, you can certainly do so.
Lauren, Dave has a question for you. If I can read it right, oh, Dave, you might have to ask.
I can read it. So Lauren, this is a geeky nerd question, but I was just curious, where did the statistic that most community gardens last only 2 years come from? Is that ACGA or?
I believe it's ACGA. Someone else asked me that question this week. It's firmly ingrained in my mind, and I can't tell you right off the top of my head. So I will make sure that I find that out and share it out to the group, because I think that that's an important thing for us to keep in mind as we're building community gardens, that we're trying to get past that hurdle. And it's important for us to be able to communicate statistics like that appropriately with resources. So my memory is that it's ACGA, but I will find out for you for sure, Dave. Thank you for asking.
Thank you, Lauren.
I have a question related to that.
Yes.
And you know, since you all can't quite remember where you saw it, this probably was in that same report, but is the thinking based on like community involvement, you know, that's the cause, or is it because the way that the soil gets depleted and maybe the gardeners don't know, you know, how to avoid that, or any guesses on why that might be?
That's a great question. Typically, it's less about soil health and more about burnout. When we talk about community garden planning with our garden partners, the thing that we talk about most is the first thing to build is your community. You want to have a large number of people that are ready to jump in and help manage it. And you want to count on those people rotating in and out, just like you would with a board of directors, because you want to make sure that you are not counting on one individual or even 2 or 3 individuals to keep the garden going. Summers are hot, winters are cold, people get sick, people move away. And so if you have a whole team of people that are each taking on a small piece of the responsibility, and you're rotating new people into that on a regular basis, you're more likely to have a sustainable, successful garden. So yeah, that's a great question. It is much more about the gardeners and the sustainability of the people running than the actual garden itself. Thank you for asking that.
Mary Jo put in the chat a comment that it's definitely a school garden statistic as well. And that came from the Department of Nutrition at UT in 2018.
Thank you so much. I knew Mary Jo would know.
And then Harrison has a question. Harrison, do you want to speak your question or should I read it?
Sure, I can speak it. I think the kitchen's tamped down a bit. Are you aware of any studies, Lauren, that find how community gardens affect health outcomes in communities?
There are a number of studies that are done on health outcomes. There is an association, American Horticultural Therapy Association, that focuses more on using gardening as a therapeutic tool. But one of the large partners in that is Legacy Hospitals system. And I believe they have done a pretty significant research on health outcomes. I will try to find some of those studies, Harrison, and share them because again, the more research we have, the better. I don't know of any that have been done in our service area. So if any of you do know of health outcome studies in Tarrant County or in our 13 county service area, I would be very, very excited to hear about those and read them. Any other questions? All right, I so appreciate being asked to speak and thank you for your time. I look forward to questions and suggestions and feedback. and being able to share more together so that we can strengthen our network here.
It's really exciting that you guys are doing that. I'm glad you're kind of embarking on really looking at some of the support that's needed, providing the support that's needed, but also looking at the impacts. So that's awesome. Thank you, Lauren, for being with us. Appreciate it. All right. We are going to move into our working group and committee updates. And first on the list is Community Gardens and Urban Agriculture Working Group. Dave and Charlie?
So I guess maybe I'll get started, and Charlie, you can maybe do the Grow Southeast part. How's that sound?
Sounds perfect.
All right, thank you, sir. So we had a guest presenter at our meeting, and it was another in the theme of school gardens. So I'm looking off at my notes here on the screen, so pardon my eyes moving aside, but Deborah Ray was her name, from Idea Public Schools. And they have schools, I think, in 3 states, they told us. They started here in Texas. They have a couple locations in Fort Worth, and they're going to put a youth garden in one of them. I think we were told it was going to be the Haltom City location, most likely. And they're going to hire a gardener to tend to that, but then the kids will be integrated into their curriculum. Because it's a charter school, there's less politics about eating the vegetables in the cafeteria, so the kids can actually do that and learn to make healthy meals and all that kind of stuff. So that was really exciting. And they've got youth farms, not at every location, but at a number of them. So it was cool to learn about their program. And then we just heard from Mary Jo, and she gave a fantastic report on the study that her team did on school gardens in Fort Worth ISD. And they finished a survey about which schools have gardens. Are they being used? And how are things going in those gardens? And the biggest challenge they identified was a lack of coordination. There's really no one at Fort Worth ISD who looks over the whole program. And so there's no one person to go to if you have a challenge that you need help with. So we're looking at making a report out of this survey that Mary Jo and her team did. And then maybe down the line, the board of the Food Policy Council may decide to create a white paper with maybe some advice to Fort Worth ISD, such as maybe hiring at least a part-time school garden coordinator. Maybe we could even work on finding a grant to do that, right, with them. But Mary Jo pointed out there's some challenges there, one of which is who at Fort Worth ISD is going to champion and sort of host the school garden coordinator. So anyway, everything is more complicated than you want it to be. But they did a great job on that report. And that's also going to, by the way, the locations of those school gardens are going to go on our whatever we're calling our map of where you can get healthy food, which is on the Tarrant County Food Policy Council website. So they'll get added there. And let's see, Lauren just gave an update, just like you just heard. So I don't have to tell you that again, but she told us about the Tarrant Area Food Bank Community Garden Network. And then Charlie, it's up to you about Grow Southeast, and then I'll come back with the next meeting date.
Hey, I'm Charlie Blaylock, owner and operator of Shine's Farm Stand and market manager and president of Cowtown Farmers Market. I'm also the consulting farmer for Opal's Farm and Grow Southeast and all of our farms that fit under there. So our Grow Southeast update was that we are having a little trouble with the irrigation pump from Opal's Farm. It seems that a moving river moves a lot of silt, and we have silted it out, and we're having a struggle getting that pump running. So irrigation is important, and that's the state of that. We Black Wall Street, we have the Black Wall Street Farm, pardon me, is we have volunteer opportunities this Saturday, which will be refurbishing the farm, because just like we have mentioned many times, the champion got sick, and the maintenance through the worst part of summer, he was in the hospital, and that wasn't able to be done. So we are going to be refurbishing the farm this Saturday, and next Wednesday we're going to be installing drip irrigation. So if you're interested in either one of those, I'm going to put links to our volunteer opportunities in the chat when I'm done with this. Greater Mount Tabor, we are clearing the path for the electrical service. The pump is completed. So we will be up and running by January. So we should have a full farm running by early spring. Mind Your Garden Urban Farm won the Latino Business Pitch competition from the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and was featured on WFAA. We were super supportive of them. They are introducing a healthy hour instead of a happy hour, a way to kind of hang out, decompress after work, and in an outdoor healthy environment around healthy food. Let's see, and that is what we were up to in Grow Southeast.
Thank you, Charlie. That's awesome. Just to let you know the next meeting time, and I'll put this in the chat too, but it's Thursday, November 18th at 3:30, and it'll be by Zoom again, so you don't have to drive anywhere. Just turn on your computer. And we also have been ending our meetings with a discussion. This was Charlie's idea, and I really like it. So last time we talked about our favorite fall food and gardening memories. So if you come to the next meeting, there'll be something fun to talk about like that. So I think that's it for us. Thank you.
Thanks, y'all. Lots of good things happening. Next up is Children's Health Working Group. Alexandra, I think you're up.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, everybody. My name is Alexandra Thurston, and I work for the City of Fort Worth Community Action Partners. I am also a member of this board and a co-chair of the Children's Health Working Group. We've been working toward we would like to see restaurants market, or rather not market, sugary beverages, not to say that they would not still be able to offer them, but on kids menus, we'd really like to see either, milk or 100% juice options be the default for children's meals. We meet bi-monthly. Our next meeting will be October 20th at 10:30, and that will be virtual. I will also drop that information in the chat. That concludes my report.
Awesome. Thank you, Alexandra. Food Recovery Working Group. I think, Becca, you're covering that one today.
Yes, I can. And if anybody else knows any more than I do, you can feel free to jump in, but I have some notes from Brittany here. She said the next meeting for the Food Recovery Working Group is on November 12th at 2:30 p.m. It does not say if it's in person or virtual, but I would imagine virtual probably. The projects that they are currently working on and will have a lot of collaboration with the Communications Committee for the Food Policy Council is they are working on a resources page for our website, which our lovely Vista Destiny is going to help with as well, for food recovery resources. They're also working to update and redistribute the recovery rack cards that were once given out to grocery stores and consumer health city departments to distribute to food waste generators. They are also working on putting together a speakers bureau, which I love this idea so much, kind of similar to what the Master Gardeners do, where they have a list of topics they can come speak on and people assigned to those topics. So kind of that, or another option of small video shorts on different successful food recovery projects. So they are looking for people to submit reports or videos about those projects. And then Brenda, you might get to speak here. Brittany said you just presented some information on amazing accomplishments with grocery store pilots at a conference y'all were both at. So if you want to speak about that, I'm sure we would love to hear it.
Sure. Yeah, so I spoke on our project with GE Foodland, 3 grocery stores here in Fort Worth that are setting aside their cold produce and 2 farms currently, Mind Your Garden and Opal's Farm, are picking up from 2 stores, and then the stores are also setting aside what is still safe and edible, and we are diverting that to 2 of our school pantries. Our newest addition to that is our partnership with Carpool Compost, which everybody met at, like Lauren said, at a Dig Deep. So that was good. That was a great connection. And they are providing the logistics for that project. So they're taking the produce from the stores and helping us out with the logistics of that. So we're really excited. GE Foodland's a great grocery store partner, and they want to do more to help divert food from the landfill.
Great. That's fantastic. Thanks, Brenda, for that addition. That's fantastic.
Thank y'all.
Committees, Communications Committee. Do you guys have anything to share?
We sure can. I'll share a little bit about what we talked about at our board retreat, some of the accomplishments we had last year and what we're looking forward to doing this coming year. So last year, we felt like we did a pretty good job of posting information to our social media sites. We're always trying to improve that. For those who aren't as familiar with the work of the Food Policy Council, we all do this as on a volunteer basis. And so we do what we can, but we're always working to improve and get more information out there. In this past year, we did launch the Community Gardens and Urban Agriculture Resource Facebook group, which gets, some pretty good conversation going. And so we were happy to do that. And I know that the Food Recovery Working Group would also like a Facebook group to help engage people on a different platform. Our committee also takes care of the emails that are regularly sent out. Harrison takes care of the emails that are regularly sent out to remind y'all about meetings and provide meeting recaps. And then we had started doing a social media campaign about introducing our board members, which we're hoping that Catherine will want to continue next year because I thought it was super cool. But that's kind of what our recap on what we did this past year and what we're looking forward to for 2022 is continuing to improve our social media content, promoting our board members, our member organizations, events, sharing news articles and keeping people well connected. Improving our website content. So if you've been on there, we know there's errors. We're getting to it. Destiny's been a great help in reviewing a lot of that content, and we will get that updated and improved so that we can be a better resource for the community on food access issues. And then also improve and increase communication with members. So that's kind of what we recapped, and we will continue to work on that going forward.
Very good. That's fantastic. Events and education. Do y'all have anything to share?
Sure. Alexandra again. We are tentatively working toward public-facing informational sessions, so stay tuned for that. Yeah.
Thank you, Alexandra. I know this has been a strange time to try to do any events. Anything from fundraising? I'm on that committee. We haven't met to discuss anything that I'm aware of. Again, difficult to do events in these times, and that's often how we do participate in fundraising. Membership, I'll just say that we are looking at formalizing our membership with the council, and expect to have that up and going in the next few months and share it out with everybody. And just part of building the capacity and the strength and the longevity of the organization. So please look for that. and we'll be excited to have our members and providing that support for the organization. Okay, nominations and voting is our next thing that's up. Soraya, do you have a summary of what positions are currently open?
Yes, so currently, based on the bylaws and having a odd number of voting members, Gina and I were able to meet and discuss that we have 3 vacancies or an odd number of vacancies based on the nominations on the members rolling off. Sorry, I'm wearing a mask. It's hard to talk right now. We also had a discussion on, we did receive, fortunately, 3 nominations that I will be reaching out to. So if I see several names on the call, some of you had spoken with, you were nominated to be a member, be reaching out shortly just to get a quick bio statement and just a kind of a description of why you'd like to join the Food Policy Council. And so I hopefully you got to hear a little bit today of what the different committees do. So when I email you tomorrow, it'll be fresh on your mind about which committees you'd like to join and which ones can use more help. So like I think Susie and Becca mentioned at the beginning, we ideally would like to have our nominations in November, so we can have people ready to onboard in January. Unfortunately, this year didn't allow us to do that. So we will be having a vote at our next meeting in December, which I believe Harrison gave that the date was Wednesday the 9th. Thursday, December 9th. I'm second. Oof, a week off. Okay. Mea culpa. Okay. So thank you.
That's okay, Soraya.
Yeah.
It's the end of the day.
Yeah. And I see Becca has a hand raised, so I'll start mumbling and let Becca ask her question.
Just a question, where would you, if other folks would want to be nominated to be on the board, or they have somebody to nominate, what email address would be the best to send that to at this time? And then did we also have some officer positions we were voting on?
Yes, so we did receive a nomination because the vacancies that we've had for this year with Susie rolling off as her term as president into the past chair position, we do have a nomination for chair, as well as a nomination for vice chair if that position is left vacant with the nomination to chair. But that was the only vacancies that we had at the level of leadership. Thankfully, Harrison and Brenda have continued to serve as our valiant secretary and treasurers and keeping us moving along. So thank you to them for that.
All right. Thank you, Soraya. We appreciate the work that you guys are putting in on that. Other comments? Any other questions for Lauren that you didn't get in before that now have come to your mind? Please pop those in the chat. If there are other things that you'd like to share with the group, please let us know through the chat, and Becca can give you permission to speak, I think is the correct thing to say, and share some general things. Alexandra?
Yes, hello again. I just wanted to share that, of course, while we prioritize people having access to healthy food, there are other, aspects in life that, contribute to well-being and health. And with that said, the Community Action Partners, which is the community action agency for Tarrant County, does still have funding to assist with utility payments, emergency rental assistance, particularly if you've been directly affected by the pandemic. And you can apply online or via postal mail, fortworthtexas.gov/CAP, as in Community Action Partners.
Awesome. Thank you, Alexandra. That may be important information. Others?
I have a thought and kind of a something for the group to think about, both members and board members. We have 3 working groups currently. We have community gardens and urban agriculture, children's health, and our food recovery working group. And I thought, and this is not my area of expertise, so I'm not nominating myself. I'm hoping somebody else will think this is also a great idea. To potentially have a working group that keeps an eye on policy that is related to the work that we do. I know that several people on our board have that expertise, and I'm sure some of our members do as well. I'm imagining this group doing things like just keeping us aware of, regular cycles that our government goes through, perhaps policies and grants that we need to be aware of, any letter writing campaigns we might want to do. So we do have a process for onboarding new working groups, but if that is of particular interest to anyone, I feel like that would maybe be an appropriate working group for our council to have. So if there's other thoughts you'll have, I'm interested to hear them as well.
I think that'd be great. I think it would also kind of allow us a mechanism to and send somebody to the statewide policy, the local food policy working group that meets, that we should participate in. Other thoughts on that, on the additional working group?
This is
Dave
right.
says-
I love that idea.
Does anybody have an interest of serving on that working group? Even our folks in the chat box, if y'all want to hop in, does that sound like fun to anybody?
I would love to nominate someone who's attending. She left, but I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, but I think she might not have the bandwidth, but she would definitely be an asset, even if she can only consult that group and not participate.
I think, for example, one of the things that will come up that would be pertinent to this group policy-wise is, and we'll see what other movement happens on this, but the Farm Bill is going to be renegotiated. The federal Farm Bill next year will be worked on. I think it's next year. They'll start working on that. I've heard 2023 as the year for the Farm Bill. But we were talking about the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program, which is a benefit for seniors, low-income seniors, to have a little bit of money for fresh fruits and vegetables at farmers markets. Texas is very underfunded, and there's some reasons behind that, but working on getting that funding changed and see who else in the country is working on that kind of thing. That would be an issue, that because we have members who are involved in that pretty intensely. So I think that would be that's an example of an issue that has come up, policy issue we might participate in.
So Cowtown Farmers Market is a member partner with the Tarrant Area Food Bank. We work with the Farmers Market Nutrition Program, and we were really disappointed to find out that we couldn't also serve seniors as well as WIC. But that is going to lead me into my announcement. Hey, it's fall. It's a chilly 90 degrees outside. So get your iced pumpkin latte and come on down to the farmers markets. Pumpkins, butternut squash, mustard greens, collard greens, all our fall favorites are all starting to come out. Bok choy, radishes, turnips. Those things are all starting to hit the farmers market. So in our healthy eating, let's make sure we lead by example by eating well. And I would like to personally introduce Amber Carr, who has joined Shine's Farm Stand as an intern. She's on the one of our viewers today. She's going to be working with me to help the farm. And we're going to get her connected with all of y'all on other work that needs to be done too. So welcome aboard, Amber. It's a lot of work. We like it.
Welcome, Amber. You're going to have a good time. Other announcements to be made? All right, let me Let's see. We have some volunteers for another volunteer. Thank you, Catherine, for volunteering participation in the policy group. Yes, Michelin, it would be nice if they would combine FMNP and the Farmers Market Nutrition Program and the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program into one program, but they're funded through different legislation. So that's one barrier to that. It would be nice if we could, those of us that operate the WIC Farmers Market Nutrition Program could also accept the produce benefit that's on people's WIC cards in addition to the vouchers. That would be a fantastic opportunity as well. Another policy issue that we might be able to do that at the state level. I don't know. Okay, we are at almost 5 o'clock. Thank you so much. Anything else? One last call? Board or participants? You guys are awesome. Thank you for spending your afternoon with us. And Becca.
I'm going to make one little announcement. It's a personal announcement because I think I've told most people in this group already. But if I haven't told you already, my last day at Tarrant Area Food Bank is on October 15th. And you can now find me at Cowtown Farmers Market with Charlie, hanging out over there as the new market manager. So y'all will have to come visit us and get all that fresh produce he was talking about.
It's awesome, Becca. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
As are others.
Thank you very much, Blue Zones and Brenda, for our grant opportunity to make that position possible and make our farmers market even better. Awesome.
That's community working together. That's what the system is all about. Charlie, was that your, you were pointing at Becca?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Very good. Okay, one last call for things that anybody wants to bring up. Okay, thank you all for being here. Really appreciate Lauren and the work that they're doing with community gardens and the work that each of you does on a daily basis to support local food and food access and food recovery and composting and all of the things. So we will see you December the 2nd at 4 p.m. All right, everybody take care.
Bye. Thank you.